Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Kansas. And we are on Haven. But before the match gets into it, let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. As you guys know, we are on the path to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And we are well on our way. You guys are what's making it possible. So, if you haven't already and you enjoy what I do, punch that subscribe button. Share it with your friends and family. Because if you like it, there's a good chance they might as well. Be a part of our journey to 50,000 subscribers. Now, we're going to be in Kansas, we're on Haven, and we are going to go to the right side. You guys know the deal, we like to win our side, that is the goal. So, we're going to head off to the right side, and I think you're going to see pretty quickly that we're going to basically be up against the entirety of the enemy team on our side. Big surprise, I know. But, yeah. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a match where we have to hold, and the enemy is going to play very, very passively, despite having a huge numbers advantage. Which brings me to my next topic. If you have the numbers advantage, use it. There's so many people that just do not understand how to use a numbers advantage in World of Warships. Move forward as a team. Focus your fire to get rid of one ship at a time so that you guys can continue to push. It's little things like that that will win you games. If you let one singular Kansas do to your team, what I'm about to do to these guys, it's going to be a rough go for your team. Now, right off the bat, we've got a Helena pushing forward. Tier 6 light cruiser for the Americans. He's at range, which means our shells are going to be plunging fire. It's not going to be coming in at a really flat angle, so overpins are not as likely. And he decides to just sit there, over-angled, begging for it, and yeah. That's not how you play the Helena. I've always said it. If you're in a light cruiser and you're stopped, you're dead. You're just waiting for the shells. The only exception, obviously, is if you're behind an island and you're not spotted. But even then, you've got to be aware of what's going on, because if you do get spotted behind an island, there's a good chance that people from distance can actually reach out and touch you. Now here we take a shot at the Massachusetts, and now we're looking at the Kansas. You can see there's a lot of firepower over here. We got 3 of their battleships. Their Helena's already been removed. We slapped that Massachusetts for over 10,000 damage. We're up to 43,000 damage already. We just crossed 2 minutes into the match. We're 2.5 minutes in. We've got 43,000 damage. Hard to argue with that. But, you know, Kansas is a bad ship, I hear. So, that's always a good thing. When you take these terrible ships out and you showcase just how nasty they actually are and give people a little bit of entertainment in the process, it's always a good thing. Now here you can see I'm looking over to see what I have, and it's an Azuma. Our battleship has turn and run. I know, shocker. But we have a destroyer here as well. So we're trying to keep an eye out for the destroyer. He's behind the island. We can't actually hit him. So we're going to start to move forward. We're going to keep our guns in a position to where we can potentially shoot him if he does get lit up again. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Now, because there's a smoke screen out here, because we know the destroyer was heading towards the inside, I also am kind of wary about kind of pushing forward into that. Because, again, despite how thick the Kansas is, taking torpedoes is not a good idea. And that's when the mines get spotted. Mines is broadside on and reversing. We give him the front turrets, and we're about to turn and give him the rear turrets of truth and justice. Or justice and truth. Depending on which day of the week it is. And once again, a broadside light cruiser sitting still, or slightly reversing in that case, gets absolutely yeeted from the match. So, if you could take anything from this light cruisers, stop stopping. It's gonna end poorly for your ship. If you're in open water, you should be constantly moving. You can adjust the throttle to slow down or speed up to avoid shells. You can turn. It gives you options. If you're stopped, you have no options. You either speed up or you reverse. That's your options if you're stopped. And neither of those are going to end in your favor. Now here we got Massachusetts over-angled. We're trying to punch that cheek. Shells land a little bit high. Didn't quite get into that cheek armor that I was looking for to get into that citadel. But doesn't matter because we're still at 74,000 damage. He's going to try to bow tank us. We're in the Kansas. We're going to slap that superstructure. 3,600 damage. Not too bad for a 2-gun broadside. Kansas is the bigger threat here, just to the team in general. So you can see I'm constantly kind of checking out the Kansas. He's still running away. Massachusetts, though, is opening up. Kansas just got slapped. You can see we do have a battleship that's still in the spawn. So he's able to get the crossfires on these guys as they run away from me, which is perfect. And I've always said creating crossfires doesn't always work out in your favor. Sometimes it works out in your teammates' favor. But somebody is going to have a juicy angle on these people. And you can see, once again, our battleship buddies that are over there are still able to get shots as they hit the Massachusetts and the Kansas. Our other battleship has decided to turn all the way back around and come all the way back over here after running away initially, which makes no sense whatsoever in the flow of a game. Like, this guy has spent the entire game basically doing absolutely nothing. But we are easily able to get rid of that Massachusetts. So now we are going to push forward and push our advantage. This is exactly what we were talking about at the beginning of the map. We don't have the numbers advantage on this side. It's just me, an Azuma, and whatever that torpedo battleship was that just pulled back up on us. But what we do have is an enemy team that's running away from us. So rather than sit back and wait for them, we're just going to push, try to keep these guys in a crossfire, keep them off balance, and make sure that we can take advantage of them. You can see our battleship buddy still has, he's gone forward now. He's going to push his flank. I'm pushing up. We've got the Heinrich still running away. We're going to go ahead, aim high on him, go for superstructures, potentially plunging fire, maybe knock a gun. And we're waiting for the opportunity to potentially remove a destroyer or the battleship that's still over there. We know that the Kansas is there somewhere. So we just don't know exactly where he is. Prince Heinrich has now turned broadside to us. And as moment I look, every time, it's like as soon as I get a chance to look at them, they have to disappear. Like, it's so frustrating. But speaking of going full broadside, Kansas forgets that we exist, and we're going to swiftly remind him. And bonk. Another 10,000 damage, and we break a gun. Love to see it. And in 20 seconds, we're going to do it again. Because, why not? If he survives long enough to do that. He gets absolutely chunked by the guy that's over on the other side of the map. And he's got about 5,000 hit points. For those of you who don't know, like when I call out that he's got like 5,000 hit points, he's got slightly more than that. He's healing right now, so he's getting close to 10,000 hit points. But we're going to take the shot at superstructure. When you look at the health bar of an enemy ship, each one of those little lines is 5,000 hit points. That's why if you look at a destroyer, you'll see that most destroyers have 2, maybe 3 of those lines. Battleships have the most because we have the most health, so you get like 5, 10, 15,000, you know what I'm saying? So each one of these lines that are on the health bar, that's 5,000 damage. So that helps you decide, like, for those of you who are newer to the game, that helps you decide when you're trying to finish somebody off, whether or not you're likely to finish the person off. If you go, okay, this guy has less than 10,000 hit points, one decent salvo, he's done, right? It helps you, like, when you're in a fight to know how quickly you're going to be able to deal with one guy versus another. And rather than, and you know that you can post that in your head, numbers, rather than just going, okay, this guy's low health. I can try to finish him off. You can go, okay, I need 15,000 to kill this guy, or 16,000 to kill this guy. So not likely to kill him with the front guns only. But we did chunk him. We got 5 hits, and we're going to swing out and get the rear guns involved, see if we can't finish this Monarch off. He opens the angle here, but he is going to turn back out, so we aim high, trying to go for that superstructure once again. He gets a fire on us. Not the best salvo in the world, but it looks like we're going to get a couple of hits, and we do. We get 3 overpins, and the front guns are loaded again, so we're going to take them, and he's just around the 10,000 damage mark. He dodges the HE from the Azuma, and then we once again just struggle to hit the superstructure. We're hitting everything but the superstructure, and for those of you who don't know, the Monarch is actually pretty decently armored. It is literally, the Monarch and the Lion, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Lion, are like sister ships in this game. But the Lion is more of an HE spammer, whereas the Monarch is the AP-centric battleship. But they're like the same armor, they're very tanky, they're hard to get rid of unless, of course, they go flat broadside. But we take another shot at his superstructure, and we finally get to finish him off. Prince Heinrich has turned full broadside once again, and in 14 seconds, we're going to try to finish him off. But notice we're still spotted. The Heinrich is behind the island. What does that tell us? That tells us there is a destroyer nearby. So rather than going in front of this island, I choose to go ahead and run into the island and beach. Why? Because if that guy launched on the... If he launches his torpedoes on the white line, the direction that I'm currently heading, then he's going to miss. And sure enough, there's the torpedoes. So Fletcher whiffs all of his torpedoes on us. We manage to beach, and we're going to be okay. He tries to smoke up, but unfortunately for him, there's a cruiser right there that's capable of keeping him lit up long enough. And between him and everybody else shooting at him and the secondaries of this battleship, he's done. So, pretty solid game overall. A good showcase of making sure you balance your aggression. When you know you're outnumbered, try to keep your health points as much as you can. Hold your side for as long as possible and create those crossfires for your team. 137,000 damage, not a huge damage game, but between me and the battleship that stayed at the cap, we set up the crossfire and the enemy was able to be finished very quickly. So, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you guys punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.